So today was the release day for the Sims 4 Businesses and Hobbies expansion pack, and I was able to purchase it, so I was very happy about that. So this is my first time building with the pack, and I was just kind of exploring what to do with it. So I was kind of wanting to do a bookshop and coffee shop. So how I designed the building was for it to look like a book that's upside down, so that's why the roof is kind of pinched in, and the paneling looks like pages. I don't know. It's kind of quirky, but I had fun. So I was trying to figure out how I wanted it to look, and I spent a lot of time on the landscaping, which isn't necessarily what I normally do. And I was just learning all the new items that the pack came with and how I wanted it to work on mine. And I think that it turned out okay. I mean, it's not perfect, but I was just exploring what to do with it because I really wasn't sure where to put things for it to look good, I guess. And so I think that my favorite part of this build was building the bookshop and library, because I kind of modeled it after a library here in town where like they have obviously all the books, but they have little stations for computers. But for this build I just used a few desks with like the research computer. And more towards the end I decided to add on to the building, where I just added some extra private rooms so people can read in or do whatever in, which reminds me so much of the library that I go to, because they have private rooms where you can study, read, whatever, but you have to rent them out. Well, I shouldn't say rent them, but you have to reserve them, and they're only for like an hour or so. The bookshelves that I used were from the Book Nook pack, I think is what it's called. I didn't realize that the new expansion pack came with bookshelves that we could use. So I switched those out, as you'll see here in a little bit, because the one that came from the Book Nook pack, I still don't know what it's called, they didn't quite fit well on the wall. There was a good gap. I'm like, I don't really like that. But the other ones, they were taller, because I guess the ones that from that pack, you can lift them up onto the wall. I was like, well, that's not kind of what I'm going for. So I decided to change them to the one that came with the new expansion pack. And I was trying to make sure that there would be enough walk room for the sim, because I know that it could have gone overboard and then it wouldn't be functional. But the point is for the build to be functional, or else it just wouldn't be worth building, I guess, because I mean, we've been wanting things like this, so I was just wanting it to work. And I still hope that it does work. I did move the fourth desk, I believe, and I just deleted it. And here's the little add-on that I was talking about, and I couldn't get it to fit the way that I was wanting it to definitely mimic the library that I was talking about, but it still worked. It's just turned a different direction, which actually I wish the desks that were at the library were kind of faced that way, so you could have one eye on the door instead of having your back to the door. It's just scary. And I did actually study in one of those rooms, and I was getting claustrophobic. It's one thing to study in your own room, and like if you have like a tiny little spot, but it's your own area. But sitting at a public library where everybody's sat, which I mean that's just my own thing. I would still do it. I love going to the library, but it was my first time doing that kind of thing, so I'm thankful that they have those for people to study, but it wasn't for me. I don't know. I was trying to figure out the interior for like the wallpaper. So I was wanting to use the new stuff, but I don't know if it even looks right? Because I was kind of wanting to go for like an older feel, and to me, it just feels like that wallpaper almost has a texture of cloth. I don't know. See, I don't know what's going on with my game because I was trying to move the stairs and it would just delete the door. So it's like, well, we're not having a stairwell here. And I was looking at the new brick road that came with the pack, and I don't know what to do with it. So I tried several different combinations, and I just ended up using terrain paint to kind of give it more of a realistic feel, I guess, more natural, because I just picked a lot to build the build on, so it doesn't necessarily exactly have to fit in there, but I kind of made it match with the tin roof and the texture, or well, the texture of the roof. I just couldn't quite get the color, and I was making a little patio here so people could, either drink their coffee, eat their little snack, or read a book outside if they wanted to. I hope that works. I really didn't test it out. I probably should have, but I didn't. And one thing that I don't know is if I could have two separate businesses on the same lot. Because if so, I could charge 2 entrance fees. I didn't test this out. I should have tested it out, but I didn't. So I just went with, a little cobblestone, whatever, for the patio. And I did change the fence color because I just wanted it to kind of be white instead of match the roof. It just didn't look right, so I just decided to change that. And I was trying to use the new fence, which I did use the new fence, but the ones with the lights, and the ones with the lights don't have a matching gate. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And I just added some little flowers there, and I was trying to make it line up so it wouldn't stick out like a sore thumb. So there was that. And I know that I was finished with the one side of the build, but I was like, oh man, now I have a whole other side, the other part of the business. I didn't add like a residential side to this because I just wanted some place where you could put your business down. You don't necessarily have to live in there if you don't want to. Like, you could leave it and come back to it, have other people run it. So I like how that automatically clips to the sidewall. It makes it look like a real checkout. So does this mean that grocery stores are coming? I know that's probably silly, but there was, I think, a little icon that had groceries on it. I don't know. So it took me a little while to figure out how I wanted this layout to look, or how I wanted the seating arrangements to be. I don't know. I was just trying to figure out how to do that because I wanted it to be functional for everybody. So, and I was going to use the same wallpaper as I did for the library, or the library bookshop. But I was like, no, that's not the feel that I'm going for. It needs to be more darker to kind of match the coffee theme. And so that's what I went with. And it was interesting because there's not a whole lot of decorations for coffee shops. I mean, I guess there could have been. I didn't purchase the bistro pack. There'd probably be a lot more there if I did, but I didn't. So I was trying to make it look a little bit more textured and quiet, but busy, I guess. And I don't like that you can't change the color of that LED sign. That would have been nice. So I just added like older pictures on there because it kind of matches what the theme is for the bookstore. And I was like, it's just gonna be kind of like old timey. And also, it kind of reminded me of the bookshop that we have here in town. It's a small business, but I've never been in it. But I was like, I wonder what it looks like. But it's very unique on the outside, I'll say. It has a very unique name. I added on a sink room or a washroom as an afterthought because I was like, well, can they just throw away their items in a trash can? But I don't know. So I built a washroom so just in case they do have dishes, they can, one, throw them away, or two, the employees can wash them. So I just added that in there. To add on a back patio, but I decided against it. And we are nearing the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider liking, subscribing, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.